I was mingling with the stars. Like, people were coming up to me saying, "Oh, Rich, nice to meet you. Can we get an interview?" And I was like, "No, I'm going to go and shit myself. I do apologise."
In the baking heat, I was saying to him that I had a job where I was working in, like, just clearing out old insulation out of a building once in, like, 35 degrees. You got all that fibre crap getting in all your clothes. Oh, it's disgusting. It's horrible.
And that's all I'm really looking for, because politics got so messy. It's about agendas, net zero, stuff to do with genders, how many genders there are. There's just such a division in it. And as you say, you got one party for this route, one party for this route, but none of them really cover all areas in a way that I see will move this country in the right direction.
Boys, I'm here.
Yeah, Swano's lost the will to live.
Should we just go? Swano's glitching already.
I think we need to go before Swano just.
I'm about to go, I think. Yeah.
So how you been? So we've this is the first time back since we pretty much all of us had some kind of illness, one or the other. Thank you very much for that, Rich.
I know what I need to do. Where the fuck's that just gone? Hold on. This is how I tilt my mic. Hold on, me camera. Right, there we go. Right, bash. Bash. Yeah, boy, look at that. Here we go.
Glowing.
Boys, I can only apologise for my tardiness and unpreparedness. Why do I look yellow?
And green. I was going to say, why do you look green and yellow? Like, you look dead.
I look like
I look
like one of those COVID victims. You're the first ones that came out in China when they were all over the news.
Yeah.
I look like one of them.
Yeah. I think if we just laid you on a trolley, it would just like, well, something happened to Rich.
Hold on.
Are we still going?
I started recording 2 minutes ago.
Mate, I look like I've got kung flu. What's going on? Right, there we go. It is what it is. Oh my God, why does Swano look like that now? Okay, right. Listen, boys, I'm ready whenever you are. Let's go. Let's do this thing.
Oh, he's ready whenever we are.
I'm out of breath.
45 minutes ago.
Let
Cheers,
me turn
Rich. That's fine.
Yeah, let me just turn it. Hold on.
Oh, what's he doing now?
Right there, I'm done.
Well, we've got our intro.
Intro, yeah. We're halfway through the episode and Rich is finally ready. Right, anyway, so we were all ill, thanks to Rich. Well, I was ill, thanks to Rich. Cheers, mate. Swano wasn't very well on Monday. We've had a bit of a week off, haven't we? We've all had a bit of a week off. Bank holiday weekend didn't help.
Mate.
Yeah.
I got to UTK, right? I drove down to Hannah's house the night before, she won't mind me saying. And drove down to Hannah's house the night before, and literally as I pulled up to her house, I was like, I don't feel right, mate. And my belly started going like, blah, 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 doing all that. And I thought, something's wrong here. I started sweating, and I was like, my throat started hurting. Mate, I don't think I've ever been that ill for 48 hours. It was just like, mate, it just hit me. And then when I saw you guys, I got me all access pass and everything. Yeah, you boys didn't get one, did you? I was in there, mate. I was mingling with the stars. I was mingling with the stars. Like, people were coming up to me saying, "Oh, Rich, nice to meet you. Can we get an interview?" And I was like, "No, I'm going to go and shit myself. I do apologise." I kept going. Thank God there were toilets backstage, because I tell you what, wow, yeah. And that's all the information I'll give you, lovely people, on that. But yeah, it was emotional, and I'm sorry that I made you guys ill, except you, Bruce.
Well, you didn't.
I don't think you made Swano ill, did you?
You didn't actually shake my hand, so I actually thank you. You said, "I'm not going to shake your hand," after shaking Bruce's hand, and then look how that went.
Did we not hug though?
And I think
we hugged.
Who, you and Swano?
Yeah, me and Swano. I think we hugged.
Maybe if we did, but I would have looked away from you anyway, so it would have helped. It's all good. I survived it.
It's more the fact that you probably spent most of the morning wiping your nose with your hand, and then you just shook my hand and were like, "There you go." Have that.
Dripping, mate. It was dripping. Honestly, all day I was like,
"Oh, I know. Oh, I know. I know, Rich." Because 3 days later, I had exactly the same thing.
Oh, good. That does cheer me up. Were you rough, mate? Were you really rough?
Yeah, I didn't feel good, mate. As soon as that kicked in, that was me for 5 days. Done. Like, 2 bad days where I was just saying to Swano before we started, I think I fell asleep for 10 hours at one point, then woke up for an hour, then fell asleep for another 13 hours. Like 2 days, I was just out. I still don't feel 100% now, but I feel way better than what I did. But yeah, there's definitely something going about. But I think a lot of people came back ill off the back of it.
Yeah, well, the same thing happened last year. Do you remember? Like, we all did UTK, everyone came back, everyone was ill, but I think
it's massive. It's because you're shaking people's hands and
mate, everyone's there. It's just a germ fest, in it. But on the way back, mate, I got back in the minibus and I remember being really hot but cold at the same time, and I just went fetal in my seat on the drive back. It was like a 1.5 hour drive back to Hannah's house. Oh, mate, and everyone's like laughing and joking, and everyone's like dead cheery and stuff, and I'm just lying there thinking, I just want to die. Yeah, it was awful. It was awful. Not that I'm dramatic or anything.
At least you two have got a cool story. I just got defeated by the sun. First bit of sun we get wiped me out, and that was it. I avoid the illness, but the sun comes out, and that's me done.
Is that the diabetes?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just work. It's just, up and down stairs, carrying materials in lofts, out lofts. It's just a lot. And then get home. The moment I sit down, that's it. Time for bed. 5:30.
We were talking about this, weren't we, prior to starting, me and Swano, saying like people don't appreciate when you're in the trade like how hard it bloody is when you're doing like proper work in the baking heat. I was saying to him that I had a job where I was working in like just clearing out old insulation out of a building once in like 35 degrees. You got all that fibre crap getting in all your clothes. Oh, it's disgusting. It's horrible. Horrible.
Hey, listen. I've cut the grass in the sun before now. I know what it's like, boys. I know what it's like.
Yeah, that's comparable. No, but anyway, yeah, I think, UTK, we haven't really spoke much about it. The problem is I was saying to Swano, it gets to a point where it's now well over a week ago. It kind of seems, it seemed weird, but we were there all together, and it feels like I haven't seen you boys for a month. Like, it's weird how time goes by sometimes, isn't it? It seems a lot. But I remember saying the same thing last year. Is like it would be this big thing. It would end up in the media for 2 or 3 days, and then gradually it would just whittle out. And before you know it, 10 days later, it feels like an age ago, and it does now.
Well, I've had this conversation with a lot of people because obviously I've done my own protests in the past, and there's more coming soon. But how would I word this? UTK is brilliant, and protesting in general is brilliant for bringing people together and building that community piece that like we've all spoken about so many times. But if anyone goes to a protest expecting that protest or that march, that gathering to create a change off the back of it as like an immediate result, like it's just not going to happen. That's not how it works.
It's an awareness thing, isn't it, mate? That's what I've always considered it. This is an awareness thing. Yeah.
Do you think that's why some of the numbers were a bit smaller this year, because people from September expected it to create that instant change, which is why we saw so many people in September? It felt like there was a lot less this year. Still a good amount, I thought. Great turnout, but it was definitely a big difference.
Yeah, it looked like maybe half as much as last year to me. But there were so many reasons. Like obviously they had the what was the football thing that was on? I don't do football. Crap.
There was a lot of sporting events. The FA Cup final was on. You still had a lot of sport. Whereas September, it wasn't quite. I think it's hot. People are going away. People are on holiday, bank holidays. People want to go to the beach. There's loads of different factors that come into it, especially when you've got a nice weekend. But yeah, I felt the same.
And there's been a rhetoric shift as well. Go on, mate.
Yeah. No.
A rhetoric shift around Tommy as well. There's a right delay here. You're all right, mate. Go on. Am I going? We'll edit this. Yeah, I feel like there's been a bit of a rhetoric shift around Tommy as well, because when you go on X now, I mean, he was getting shit last year, don't get me wrong, but this year, wow, it's been like twice as much. It's been twice as bad. Like the amount, obviously, you've got the rumours, the whole Israel thing and all the rest of it. Like, it's gone through the roof. I'm not going to say he's lost support, but he has. He's lost a lot of support on the right, and it's not his fault. But a lot of like the actual far right are like, oh, he's not far right enough. But then people on the left are like, oh, he's far right, and it's like he's not actually. He's pretty central, if we're being honest.
Well, I think one thing that stood out for me is when me and Swano were stood there, it was just before we went off into the crowd, was when he was doing the whole bit about when he got political. I was very surprised by that, when he was saying like, you need to go and vote reform, advance, restore, whatever, blah 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 blah. I was very surprised by that, and I think he got an air in the crowd like, obviously most of the crowd there were probably going to be Restore Britain, and he was like, oh, come on, you know what you want me to say, but he wouldn't say it. Like, he was kind of still distanced himself a little bit from that, which I was surprised that he didn't just come out and be like, yeah, Restore Britain. He still kind of distanced himself from it a little bit, and I think there was a lot of booing happened around that as well, which to me galvanizes more towards my side, which when I've always spoke about him, is I think the man has got a brain in his head, and he's not stupid, and I think he understands it, and I think he's on the similar level to what we all are. We're not as how can I say it? Like, probably about what you said, Rich, is there's certain elements of being on the right. There's being far right, there's being moderate, there's being right centre. There's different stages, isn't there? And I think he sits kind of a similar place, maybe not so much Swano, but where me and you sit. Not ultra, not the extremism of it, but certainly not the left side of it. So it's a hard one, isn't it? And I think he understands that you're not going to win general elections in this country being far right. It's as simple as that. No. It's not going to happen. That ain't going to fucking happen. Like, it's been tried and tested multiple times. You need to get people that are moderate voters. You need to start galvanising your 35 to 65-year-old conservative voters. And you ain't going to get that with hardline rhetoric, because people don't just care about immigration. I think that's the problem as well, is there's this, as much as I know his angle is always down against Islam and extremism, and rightly so, I think when you're talking about politics, so many people look at politics these days as we need to save our country from all the immigrants, but there's so much more to it than that. And there are so many more people that are not just looking at it as immigrants. They're looking at it from an education standpoint. They're looking at it from a mortgage standpoint, savings, ISAs, investment, the economy, business, the running down of their area. Some people focus on the environment. There are loads of different people. We spoke about this in my testing, didn't we, that I did. So many people sit, and I know Aaron says this, is he's politically homeless. But the fact of the matter is if I actually took the test that I've created myself, which I have, realistically, I am as well. Because no one can represent fully what you believe. And I think you've got a lot of parties now are going very hard down certain lines, and others that are going hard down other lines. And we don't have a middle ground really anywhere for any political party at the moment. It's either take it all or take nothing. And it's very hard for people. That's probably where you sit, isn't it, Swano, is you don't really have
feel
anything
represented.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for like apologetic patriotism, I guess. Someone that's just proud of our country, wants us to do well, grow, work hard, be rewarded for it, give fair and equal opportunities to all, have proper safety on the streets. And that's all I'm really looking for, because, politics got so messy. It's about agendas, net zero, stuff to do with genders, how many genders there are. There's just such a division in it. And as you say, you've got one party for this route, one party for this route, but none of them really cover all areas in a way that I see will move this country in the right direction. But I echo what you said about Tommy coming on stage and talking about politics. It was the first time I sort of heard from him in that sort of area, other than his involvement with Advanced. But in front of that sort of crowd, it was really good for him to encourage people to go and vote. And it was good. It was good.
Rich?
Yeah, well, I mean, Tommy did he did a podcast with, what's his name? Starkey.
Dave Starkey.
Might have been Dave Starkey. I can never remember his first name. Is it Liam Starkey? Liam Starkey. He did a podcast with Liam Starkey. I think it's Liam Starkey. On YouTube. And Tommy said, he feels like the point of UTK for him right now, there's like a 4-year plan. And what he wants to do is use it to, he's Christian. He wants to bring back Christianity to the UK, which hats off. But he said he also wants to kind of wake people up politically as well and say, look, 25 million people didn't vote in the last general election. We really need to tap into that. And so I think if you watch the interview, it's a really good interview. He said himself that he feels his mission now is to kind of just wake people up politically, not to steer them down any sort of route, but to just say to people, get political, get involved, get looking into parties, policies, all the rest of it. So I think it's a very admirable thing, to be honest with you. And I think Would I have anyone from a political party speaking? No, but I get the feeling Tommy's a lot smarter than me, so I think he knows what he's doing, to be honest with you. There must be a reason behind it why Ben Habib has spoken twice, especially when you consider the fact that Ben Habib is currently trying to flog a dying party, essentially. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
Well, he was doing the advertising thing, weren't he, for donations? So I would imagine if Ben's funded some money into that, it was kind of like a give me 3 minutes on stage sort of thing. Gets his voice out there, doesn't it?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I don't. Yeah. I always come across like I'm being heavily critical of Ben. I'm not. I think he's a great guy. I don't really see what the point in advance is right now. That's all it is.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, yeah. I think it comes across to me like he's trying to be too whiter than white, if that makes sense. He's trying to be. I mean, he's we're the only clean option. And he's been, and that, which is why when we messaged the other day, I was quite staggered by his then support of Restore Britain again. Like, I don't get it.
I mean, obviously we'll take any support we can get, but I have to be careful with what I say around Restore Britain, as you know. But we'll take any support we can get. But for me, it was slightly strange the way Ben kind of. I mean, obviously we don't want to put anyone off, but he spent weeks, months now, really, just kind of attacking Restore because the merger wasn't going to happen, and then all of a sudden
that's what I found odd about it.
Them. Yeah, so
that's
I
where
don't know
I
the
found
conversations
it odd,
that go on behind. Yeah,
I don't know that's the thing you don't. But I just think it's very strange that you've spent that time and you've come out and said, you extended this olive branch to Rupert Lowe. You then pretty much went on a tirade of saying, like, you've got no constitution, you haven't done this, you haven't done that, you haven't done that. Of course, things can change in that time period. He did that in February, but I just found it again a little bit odd especially after what happened in Gorton and Denton, where you've then thrown your weight. You're kind of saying that we're another alternative. This is the party you should be voting for. But by the way, because we're not standing a candidate again, which would say that they're not ready again, and they've been around a lot longer. This is Advance I'm talking about, who've now been an established party for the best part of 7-8 months, that you're not standing a candidate. So what is the point of your party? Like, you didn't stand in council elections. You're not standing now in this by-election. So what is the point of this? It seems a little bit odd. Like, Ben created a political party when really I think what he wants is a think tank. Lowe created a think tank when really what was a political party. It's like they've shifted balance. Like, it's gone the opposite way round, that neither of them have turned around officially and sort of said, we're going to join forces and that's the road we're going to go down now. There still seems to be this sort of divide. So I don't. It's a bit odd to me. Yeah. It just seems a bit weird.
I'm the same. Like I say, I don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but as you know, everything we've been made aware is that there will never ever be a merger. So I don't know. Maybe Ben's just trying to do what he thinks is the right thing to do. Maybe it's as simple as that. He just believes it's the right thing to do. In which case, fair dues to him. But yeah, it was quite strange, to be honest with you.
As we're on politics, what's the crack with Makerfield? Because I haven't caught up with any politics this weekend, so I've seen a lot of news about it.
Well, it's just basically a setup for Labour to get their next Prime Minister in. Simple as that. There's no other two ways about it. He's stood down as Mayor of Manchester. He's been put up in an area they think they can win, which I find completely odd because Rob Kenyon did really well there in 2024 anyway, the Reform guy, because he became second, got 12,000 votes, so he's already stood as a candidate there once before. Reform then took all the councils over in that area as well, like literally 3 weeks ago. But anyone looking at this has to look at it as that this is the man that the NEC, the Fabian Society, the establishment, the wider side of Labour, the establishment of Labour, have turned around and said this is the man that we want to replace Starmer with. We've now got 100 MPs who've turned around and called for Starmer to move along, or at least put plans in place for when he's going to step down. And Burnham is by rights the person they all want. So it's a massive. This is not just a normal by-election. This is a massive thing. This is like you can send a big message to Labour, to the system, that we're not going to accept this shit. Like, we don't want these people running things. That's what it is for me. That's what it's turned into for me. This is not about Reform versus Restore or right versus left. This is, we do not want these people running this country. And I think the country needs to send a massive message to that. But I don't know. I've looked into Burnham a few times. I don't think Manchester's been run particularly well. I think there's a lot of people critical of him in there. He's obviously, again, he's 180'd and U-turned on a lot of policies that he's had in the past, a lot of things that he said, especially around like gender rights, things on net zero. He's kind of 180'd on stuff and spun stuff around. So it seems like he's the perfect fit for Labour, because that's exactly what they do. But yeah, I don't know what you. For me, it's a really important election, because he's the man that in the next 2 to 3 months after June will become the Prime Minister of this country if he wins that election. And I think he's going to be worse than Starmer. Just with me and Rich spoke about this in messaging the other day. I think he's going to be worse than Starmer.
He's much further left, isn't he, for a start?
Yeah, he's much further left.
But he's also. Go on, mate. Sorry, I've just cut you straight off.
No, I don't know, because I'll take over as usual. You know I will. Carry on.
Yeah, and we spoke about this, didn't we? It was yesterday, wasn't it? We said, he's a much bigger threat than Starmer. I mean, he's much more likable on the face of it, and if you look into him, from a shallow perspective of, as most people do, he pops up on the screen, he'll do an interview or two, and you think, oh, he seems all right, him, and he does seem all right, then you look into him and you look into his ties with, the Fabian Society and all the rest of it. A lot more dangerous, because I think he will be able to pull the wool over people's eyes far easier than Starmer can, because Starmer he's like fucking C-3PO, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? Whenever he does a speech, he's like, yeah. So this Andy Burnham, I think, if he does win, I think it's going to be absolutely terrible for this country, for all of us. I really do.
Well, I think you've only got to look at, this was one thing I think we spoke about in one of the other episodes, was obviously after the local elections happened and we saw what happened to Labour in the local elections. What was the thing we all agreed on? That Labour are going to double down on their thing. And then if you look at what happened from the 14th of May, I did a big videos yesterday about this, all the bills that are now going through Parliament. The health bill, they're going to abolish the NHS. Have you seen this? They're going to abolish the NHS. It's the first line in the health bill that they've brought in on the 14th of May. Then you've got the cybersecurity bill, you've got the courts and justice bill, you've got the voting bill, which is the representation of the people bill. But as per usual, these bills are being headlined with specific things like removing jury trials, reducing the vote to 16, abolish the NHS. But then when you go through the bills, then you start seeing where they're shoving all the power. All the power is going to go to Secretary of States again. It's going to get wrapped up in legislation and framework. So forget the Act. Doesn't matter about the Act. The Act's gone. There's none of this repeal Act nonsense. It will all be dealt with afterwards. And that's where he then steps in with this agenda. And I swear to God, I think they are going to go so fast track over the next year to 18 months, expecting, an election to come in 2027, early 2028. And I think they will do everything they can to hard push their whatever is their planned agenda through over the next 12 to 18 months. Because once they've done it, they've done it. And there'll be not much that people can do to reverse it. They'll tie it up so much that it won't be reversible. And I think the EU will be the biggest one to seal that deal, getting us back in the EU by any means necessary. Anyway, guys, we had to have a little break, so we're going to move off of Makerfield. Right, I'm going to write that time down. 28.
Back to UTK. So obviously we had very different experiences. So me and Bruce will go first because we kind of shared our day together, which was very nice. I became Bruce's cameraman, which was,
I wish you bloody had.
I was needed, every 3.5 seconds after leaving the previous group. But yeah, what a day. What did you make of it, Bruce?
It was good. But I think going back to what we said earlier is obviously it was down on numbers. But it's the same old, isn't it? We stood there and witnessed it and we walked around it. I didn't see any trouble that I could, and we were up and down Whitehall to Trafalgar, weren't we, Swan, a number of times. We were in amongst the crowd. Didn't see any issues. I don't think we went anywhere near the pro-Palestine lot. I don't think many people did. But the funny thing is all the pro-Pally lot have now come out saying that all there was, we went near there and all it was violence and trouble. And I'm sitting there like, you can look at the video that I've done for an hour of walking up or down and around. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, I just find
everyone was in such good spirits that day. For anyone to say anything different is just mad. There were so many different people, backgrounds, reasons for being there. You look like shit, mate, to be honest with you. Um, there were so many
Do you know how many
different
people come up to me and went,
nations'
"You look
flags there.
ill"?
Well,
Yeah, there was. Yeah, there was so many
thanks for
different
the
flags there.
obvious. But yeah,
Yeah.
just so many people coming together, to have their voices heard, to stand outside of Parliament and say we've had enough. The spirits were high, the energy levels were high. It was good. The event
It
itself could
was
have been
good.
better.
Yeah, I don't think the weather helped again. I think it got a bit cloudy, didn't it, and rainy for a bit.
I thought the event was
But yeah,
good. What would you improved?
Few
huh?
technical errors.
Hmm.
That was pretty much it. And I've had pointed out to me by some people I work with that from their neutral perspective, it was very anti-Islam orientated, which is we need to touch on the important facts and stats around the extremist side of Islam. But for neutrals to come on board and really understand what we're all about, I do think that kind of hinders the movement. And
Yeah.
Exactly, and I actually agree with you on that because it does get framed as unite the kingdom, uniting everybody. But what do you mean by that? Like, that's the thing. Like, do you just mean uniting everybody, black, brown, white, people that are British, or is it a anti a Muslim protest, and that's what the Greens and the left try and frame it as. And the problem is when you put people up on the stage that are very then anti-Muslim, which there was, you can't deny that, it does then get shaped that way and it gets framed that way. And I think, Aaron, I think you're exactly right with that. I said, I think if you're then galvanizing, this is the thing. I tell you what, it's exactly the same as what we're talking about with politics. If you're trying to get centrist people and neutral people, or people that sit on the fence a little bit but have got other concerns, who have probably got a Muslim Indian that's been in their community for 15 years, and then all of a sudden you've got someone standing on a stage because you're going there to unite the kingdom because you think something's wrong with the establishment or corporate control or the way our country's being run, and you go to this thing that's supposed to be unite the kingdom, and then all of a sudden you're just getting berated with anti-Muslim rhetoric. It's not a good look, is it? It's not a good, and that's the politics of it. Then it's when it becomes political more than anything. How do you
it's just.
how do you make it bigger and increase the size if you're funneling down one bloody road all the time? That's the problem.
And it's easy for people to portray the day as sort of hateful, which is the total flip side of what we experienced. The people we chatted to, the different families, the different ages, communities, backgrounds, reasons for being there. It was just such a beautiful day just chatting to the people outside of the stage. Um, that
Great point made, mate. Yes, because that's the difference. There was a very different rhetoric amongst the crowd and the wider street walking to what was actually being pushed out from the stage. It's a big
yeah.
difference. It is a big difference. But unfortunately, the BBC, ITV, Channel 4, etc., Sky will focus their cameras on that. What's actually being said across the microphone.
I think, and obviously it's no secret, I'm very supportive of Tommy. I'm very supportive of Unite the Kingdom. However, and this is something I will say if we ever get onto the topic of it, it's nothing I won't say to him. I think the whole Islamic issue and the way it's being approached is, I think they need to decide what they want to do, because on the one hand, you'll get lots of people on the right will say, we're not against Muslims, we're against Islam. There are good Muslims. I have friends who are Muslims. I have family who are married to Muslims. However, I'm going to support a cello player, was it a cello? Getting up on stage and draping bacon over his shoulders just for clicks and to rile up the Muslim community. So what are you choosing? The French girls that came and they had the burqas on, but then they took them off. Like, it's fine. Do what you want to do. Like, we can't say, you're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to, you've got to kind of pick what rhetoric you're trying to push here, because you can't say we're
Are
not
you
against
uniting the
Muslims.
kingdom? Yeah.
Yeah, you can't say we're not against Muslims, we're against Islam, and then sit with bacon over your shoulders on the stage because it's just going to piss them off. And then in the following segment have 3 girls come out in burqas and then rip them off and then stand there in their crop tops and all the rest of it. Sound if you want to do that. Like, I personally don't have a problem with it. However, don't say you're not against Muslims and then do that, because it's a bit of a it's mixed messages, isn't it? Essentially, for me anyway.
Yeah. And that's why, well, I actually kind of like it when Tommy talks, because he does talk about the Quran. He has got, I mean, I've never read it. I wouldn't have a clue what half of it says. I don't care about religion.
It was boring.
Full stop anyway. But it's at least when he comes out and talks about these things, he's talking about the radical side of it. He's talking about the extremist side of it. And the rhetoric that some of these imams have, and some of the extreme speakers that they have coming into the country, and the way they try and push this across. But then, yeah, like you say, Rich, then you if you want to talk about those things, then frame it around that. Don't frame it around. And I've had so many debates on X over the last few days. People, I mean, I had literally one massive one the other day where this guy comes in, and we ended up going on for 2 hours. It was on the back of a video I'd done. It was something to do with, I think it was actually to do with the whole me questioning why were Restore standing in Makerfield. And he basically came in and said, well, Restore are going to be the only ones that are going to get rid of all these people out of the country. And I'm like, well, what are you actually talking about here? And obviously this rhetoric came out from him, I'm not saying Restore or anyone, but from him as a supporter of Restore. Just came out like, well, Rupert Lowe's the only one who's going to get rid of all the Muslims. Rupert Lowe's going to get rid, and I'm like, but they're not. Like, you're not even got the right narrative here of what Lowe's been saying. Like, I've seen some of the stuff that the social media has been posting, but not what Lowe's actually been, the words coming out of his mouth is very different. And I just think it's all a bit of a mess at the minute. It's a massive mess.
Yeah. It's chaos.
We've got people. You've got people like Steve Laws, who, you know, I mean, Steve Laws. I'm sure we all know who he is. He's kind of pushing messaging for Restore. I mean, he's not part of Restore. He's bought a membership. He's paid his £20. You know, good on you. But he's then taken to social media to talk about what Restore's standpoint is on things, and it's like, you don't get an automatic say because you're a member. But I think Steve Laws isn't stupid. He says publicly that he supports Restore, but then he keeps pushing a narrative that's actually very, very damaging. So it's like, what are you trying to do here? It's so strange. Obviously, we know the right is extremely fractured, but at the same time, there's lots of people on the right, or certainly the extreme right, who are kind of, they're backing Restore, and they're saying things that Rupert and Restore have never said, that aren't policy, that, you know, Rupert's never sat down in an interview and said, oh, we're going to deport all Muslims. But then you go on X and people are like, yeah, Restore are going to deport them all. And it's like, where have you heard that from?
It's so weird, isn't it?
Dickheads like Steve Laws on X. Yeah. So
well, it's not just him, mate. There's because I think
that's what I'm saying. It's
like
here, it's not just him, but it is.
It's people down that road. So it's your BNP, your your hardcore, not even EDL, because even Tommy himself says there's. I've seen loads of stuff in the past from what Tommy's done before, where they were saying Black and White Unite. They had all the stuff that they were walking around with in 2008. These like hoodies and things that they've been saying having this rhetoric for it. So his rhetoric has always been about uniting Britain, and it always has been around United Britain. But I think what you've got in this country is exactly what you said there. You've got a lot of FNATs. You've got a lot of people that believe in, you know, one culture, one colour. That's what they think Restore is. And there's a lot of them. A lot of them have gone towards Restore because they think that. And I don't think that Restore's social media posting is helping, especially on X. I think their rhetoric on X is way worse than what it is on Facebook, but Facebook's bad enough. And I see some of the things they're posting. And
I think the rhetoric's the same because the comments are exactly the same. It's just that it's a very different audience, because I can post something on Facebook and, you know, it'll get millions of views, thousands, tens of thousands of comments, people saying, oh, yeah, you know, oh, this is brilliant, blah, blah, blah. You put it on X and people are like, I'm going to come and kill you and hunt you down. And it's like, what? Like, the audience, if you guys notice, like, the audience on TikTok is very kind of like, it's immature, but I mean, that's how it started. Yes. Then you go to X where it's so toxic. People say, oh, X isn't toxic. It's like, it is, because have you tried Facebook? Oh, no, don't bother with it. It's like, go try Facebook. To me, that's just real people. Facebook is very indicative of the true sort of
Facebook's a community page. Yeah.
Like, whereas X is just...
X is full of bots as well.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
I post on X and then I just leave it because there's no point sticking around on X. It drags
Same,
you down.
mate. Yeah, I drop a video and I very rarely go and check the comments on. To be fair, I'm at that. I've said this before. At that on most of my social media because I haven't got time to keep up with it. It's too many people messaging. But yeah, I 100% can confirm that. I can the difference I can get in a video. Like I could do a video slagging off Bridget Phillipson because some education policy. Put it on Facebook and you'll get people like, oh yeah, I think we should do this. This is how the education, and I'll get people writing paragraphs of like, this is what I think we should do, blah, blah, blah. Go on, exercise. She's a fucking whore.
Yeah.
it's like, okay, like endlessly. It's like, fucking hell. Yeah. The rhetoric
and then
is
thousands
so
of people like that comment where she's like,
platforms.
"Oh, she's a whore," like you say, and then thousands of people are like it, and then other people are like, "Yeah," and she's a fat whore at that, and it's like, is this what the conversation's going to, people? Seriously, yeah. X is like, man, honestly, I spend as little time on there as possible. Like I say, it's so fucking toxic. It really is.
I'm the same.
So I suppose that brings us on to
like that though. We are kind of like that. We're at the point of just name calling and bitchiness. No one's actually up for a proper conversation anymore, and that is just. I don't know what's happened here, but the whole country, no one's willing to connect and actually sort out these problems. It's fucking mental.
Yeah,
because it's far easier to scream and shout. There's so many facets to this. I was thinking about this today, actually. So there's so many facets to why these narratives are being pushed at the minute. So like. I've completely lost my point. Oh no, I had four thoughts at once. Then this is the issue with being diagnosed with ADHD, and it is a proper diagnosis. So don't just say it like lots of people do. Shit, man, what were we saying? We might have to edit this now. Leave it in. It's fine. What did you say last?
No, we're just talking about. We were just talking about how the rhetoric online, the different platforms, and then when you're posting stuff and how people respond and. How the country has just gone into this whole like everyone's attacking each other and picking a side.
Yeah, thank you. It's much easier to scream and shout than it is to actually focus on the issues. It's far easier, right, for Joe Blogs or Karen Smith or whoever to go, this country's shit, government, Keir Starmer's a wanker, post. I feel better now. It's like, go and read a policy. Fuck that, takes too long. Right, go and look into a political party. Fuck that, takes too long. You're just gonna go back on Facebook tomorrow, are you, Karen, and scream and shout again. Yeah, it makes me feel better. That's where we're at now. But also I think it gets pushed by people as well. A lot of bots are doing it, and you have to wonder who's funding these bots, because these bots, it's not always people who go, I'm going to make a fake Facebook profile and then start trolling people. Like there are actual bot centres that are set up right here in the UK, right? They'll load up the program, the AI, and all the rest of it. This is a narrative we want to push, right? And then they'll push them out, and they just create profiles constantly, and then they'll push a narrative. They're being funded by charities. They're being funded by think tanks, NGOs, the government, right? It's proven. You can go and look all this up, right? And it's much.
But Rich, people don't believe it. They don't believe it.
I know. But next time you see a comment on Facebook and you think, is this person retarded? Click the profile, right? They'll have a white cat or a black dog as a profile picture, right? And they'll have 2 friends, and the account will be like 3 months old. Promise you. Go and have a look. And what it is that these bot accounts are being funded and placed out onto social media to overwhelm us, to just write shit, so that people go, and argue back, and then you get stuck in this echo chamber of nothingness, because it's better to... preoccupy everyone with that than to just give people the breathing space to go, do you know what, I'm actually going to start looking into this stuff. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Or working on themselves to be happy, or finding freedom in their life, or finding something they actually enjoy, or having kids, or all the things we should be doing. It's easier for them to set up bots for people to argue against, literally spending all day arguing against something completely not real, than bettering their lives and actually having a bit about themselves. It's the way they want it.
Well, there's people that are actually good at it. There's people that are good at it. And there are even real people out there that are good at it. But the problem is, as well, is I remember I did a video quite a while ago, and it was when the whole narrative came around that the Greens, basically, any of the pro-Palestine, hope not hate, stand up to racism, when all these lot get bussed around the country, I turned around and did a post saying, you do realise that these are just paid antagonists. And there were people who supported me, said, what are you talking about, Bruce? You're just going to pay people to do it. And I'm like, are you mental? There are actual companies with website listings that you can go to now, like Rent a Crowd. You can pay like £1,000 to have 100 people turn up at a location, and they'll do whatever you want them to do. They're literally paid actors. They're like extras.
I went to protest.
Loads of these Rent a Crowds.
Yeah, I went to a protest, Cresta Court, last year, right, in near Manchester. It's a hotel, it's a migrant hotel, and we turned up, and there were big numbers there, mate. But there were 4 police vans around the back of the hotel, all parked up in a line, and people were like, "You should have seen them before we all got here." And a few people had got there early. I was like, "What do you mean?" They were like, "The police have shipped them in," and I was like, "Oh right, yeah, whatever, of course they have." Didn't believe it, mate. I was brand new to all of this, to the activism side of things. Fuck me. The protest finished, right? They literally, I say it finished, they've been there for an hour. Bang on an hour, right? And they all went, signs down. The police then, marched them round the back of the hotel. So we all followed, and the police were like, get back, get back. And we're like, shut up, mate. The protest's finished. What you on about? We're just going this way. They were shipping them back into the vans to get them off again. But the thing is, I got loads of crap off the left because, you know that fuck nugget, Ryan Ferguson, he's like proper neo-Nazi, right? He was there, and he started I'd heard him say, I'll try and explain this the best I can. I'd heard him say at one point, "Oh, they're all paid to be here anyway, they just want it to kick off." And I was like, okay. And I'm kind of logging all this stuff because I'm new, at this point I'm new to activism and going to protests and all the rest of it. But then he starts kicking off with them round the corner when they start getting onto the police vans. So I'm like, what are you doing? You're just giving them what they want. Oh, that was it. The footage went all over X and all the rest of it. Oh, Rich is trying to help Ryan Ferguson. So you're really stuck because you've got paid antagonists, you've got the police helping them, you've got neo-Nazis stirring the pot who know exactly what they're doing, they just want it to kick off. And then you can't even say, look, stop giving them what they want without you then getting shit online by the left. I don't know what got me onto this, but
yeah,
I'm enjoying my rants.
You can't win, mate. You can't win.
You can't.
It's a messy situation.
So,
it's proper messy.
On that note, gentlemen, I think we've summarised that. What have we actually managed to summarize?
We've
just go around
the whole country
same circles, don't we?
And Rich made us ill.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of this episode. So on that note, we will catch you next time.